Hello everyone, welcome to the Raphael Studio channel. This is Aaron. This video I'm going to be going ahead and teaching how to do a simple system basically of causing variation for, like, if you wanted to create an RTS game, or even you could do this for RPG or whatever you're designing, to go ahead and create a variant system, creating different characters and everything and how they look and all that fun stuff. But what I'm going to do is teach you how to do it from basically a root level to go ahead and get it all the way to where you're wanting it to go. So first we're going to want to begin, and this is the way I personally design a lot of this stuff, is basically with a structure. Basically, so you just go blueprints and structures. And also I'll say this too, because I know the original video I did of variants, just really quick, was with the vertex animation system. This is not that. This is actually just using core things. In this case, it will literally be a static mesh. So with this, alright, let's jump in. Is you make a shield. We're going to call it basically, yeah, I'm just going to say S shields. So, alright, basically it's just a simple structure. And then we're going to want to go to it. And then we're going to set up what it looks like. And I actually probably will even add values to it. So, first we're going to want to add, I'm not going to worry about shield names because this is just the simpler RTS. The one I want to design in the future, a lot more in depth. So, but okay, shield. Okay, shield mesh. Or actually, I could just put SM, shield SM, for static mesh. Okay, so do something like that. Grab the static mesh or whatever you're using, because you can use anything for these. It could be basically skeletal meshes, static meshes, all that kind of stuff. Is basically what it would be. So static mesh, but I would say set it to an array. There's a reason for this, because this actually helps with the variation. It's setting it as an array, not as a single variable, because there's the single variable, which is just one variable. There's an array, which is multiple variables put into one thing. A set, I'm not too familiar with a set yet. Maps, I do know that basically it's like you could put two variable types and kind of use them together. I just did that basically for some of the menu stuff that I was dealing with. So, but otherwise, going back to what I was going to say though, static mesh, basically, there you go. All right, and then the next one I would want to go ahead and create, because I don't think I have multiple shield textures. Let me check this out. Okay, shield. Okay, shield material instance. Okay, now originally you could put materials, or in this case I do material instances because in fact it allows variety and allows you to go ahead and tap into it. Like a good example, I'll point this out in the code too, you'll see this when we go to the unit, that there's a way to go ahead and set up the whole structure to able to call upon certain things to get, like a good example, colors to change and stuff like that, which is what I'm going to show. So alright, let me dive into it. Sorry, basically I gotta explain myself while doing this stuff. So okay, come on, material instance. Okay, here we go. Options. So once again, as an array, that's fine. And then eventually we're going to also want to add, and this one I'm going to change to a single, and we're going to say shield bone socket. And this will be a name, because this will call upon the name of the socket that's within the unit. So I think this is okay, and I'll stop here. This should be good enough for just showing what I'm showing as an example. Alright, so we've made the structure. So what you're going to want to do is go out to the DT, or basically create a data table. It's basically what we're aiming for. So how you get to that is miscellaneous, and you go to data table. And then what you do is you find your structure. It's like right here we have the shields. So you click there, hit OK, and I'm just going to call it data table unit. I love how I hit the wrong keys. Unit shields. Alright, and so eventually we click here, and what this does now is it creates a whole entire data table setup of different shields, like of basically all the shields you want to put in the game. You can actually just set up a row name and call upon those at any time. So now I usually do this, I usually create the first slot and say none, basically just in case there is units that don't carry shields, so that way you don't call on it. So boom, it's just none. So basically, and then the second row we're going to go ahead and I'm going to say this for Roman shields. Well, actually, I'm going to make that even more precise. Roman Christian shields. Because the designs I have are basically Christian symbolism, so based on that. So, and now what we're going to do is grab the static meshes. So, in here in the data table, we can set it up. So, I actually created for something I'm designing right now. Let me go ahead and go to it. And this pack I hope to release in the future. I'll let you all know. Basically, when I'm pretty much done with that, I think, here we go, shields. Here we go. We have 3 shields. So I'm going to put all 3 of them right here. Even though in the later game there'll be more set up. So, and the materials, yeah, it's only those bases. Yeah, so I'm not going to worry about putting the material instances. We're just going to leave it alone. So, there we go. There's those. Okay, this is base rimmed. Because there are different symbols that can be used. Actually, really, in truth, I have many different symbols that are actually set up. See, and I think that's what I was thinking. Oh yeah, and that too. Different things. That's something that could be done in the future if I could figure it out. I'll have to look into that, about how to switch textures in a material on the fly, basically in the same way as these are called. That way it can be done. I'll have to figure it out, but for now I'm just very basic on all this stuff. So, but there we go. So we got the shields. I'm not going to worry about changing the material instances, but I'm going to need to get the name of the bone for those. So we go to the model. Let's go skins. Right, here we go. Just pull up one of my human bodies here, which comes from the Unity pack known as UMAs, basically, which were avatars that can be changed and stuff like that to actually do, you know, what you're wanting in Unity. But I guess it's a little more free to use than I thought, because they had something converting it to Unreal, surprisingly. So I'm like, okay, well, if it converts to Unreal, then I can use it, I guess. So basically, I'll have to look more into it, but that's what I was going to use for my base units in this. So, but let me go to the skeleton. I need to get the skeleton here. And then I created a socket right here, and that's the thing I would say you want to create on your characters, like sockets and stuff for the various weapons. So I have one called shield. We just simply grab that, copy the name, and throw that right in here. Boom. So there we go. So that's set up now. And then what we're going to want to do is, I went ahead and did this a long time ago because I'm already kind of working on this project, is I want to go back to objects, base, units. This is the way I set it up. And then eventually the data tables for those units. And what it is I have a table that has everything. Now this is what I wanted to show here. Is in this data table, you literally can call on other data tables. That's the way I set it up in the structure. So basically, you can call upon the skins. I could choose whatever skins are available, whatever clothing is available, and you could just go from there. And so eventually it does produce your unit. Here, in this one, as you see, you've got a European tunic, we got Roman clothing, Roman light clothing, helmets, and stuff like that, the light helmets and all that kind of stuff. But now we can set up the shield. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. And this is the variable that you would want to set, like in wherever you're going ahead and building your units and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. And we're going to go to unit shields, and I'm going to select the Roman Christian shields, and the Spithfos the sword he carries, and I'll show you something that could be cool. That's cool with that. So all right, so we have that set up. So now they carry the shields, but however, it doesn't recognize yet the shields, as you'll see here. I play the game. Don't mind the background. It comes from a mod called Arthenian Total War. Good mod. Please try it. Support those people. They did a really good job with it. Campaign. This is just for testing. I'm going to totally create my own stuff when it comes to the actual game I want to develop. As you see here, he's there. He's got all the other items that I gave him, but as you can see, there is no shield. So this is what we're going to have to do. Is within the unit base, I created a macro. You're going to want to make this macro. As a matter of fact, I discovered something called a macro library. I actually would encourage you guys to do that. That is really cool because you can literally create that there and then call it on any of your blueprints. So it will not be just restricted to just one, it'll be in everything. But this is older, so before I discovered that, so this is that. So, and this is how you're going to want to set up the code here for the variations. So what it'll do is go ahead and go, you want to create the input and make it a wildcard input, and you want to make it an array. And then from that array, you want to call the length. And eventually you want a -1, because that's the thing. It technically starts with 0. So you want to go ahead and eliminate that and just make it start from 1, basically. So -1. And you put that -1 into the max of the random integer in range. And then you connect that to another thing that's attached to the array known as the get. And then eventually this is the function that will do everything for you for variation. It will call on that array and you can variate. So now what we're going to do is create a new function really quick called unit shield. Alright? And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to one of the previous ones. As you see here, I call upon my unit data table, and then what it does is it goes into the unit weapon, and then it basically, like here with this weapon, and then it will pull from there, and you get the list and then sets it up. In this case, we're just going to do this, copy these, go over into units, paste these here, calls upon the data table here. Yeah, so as I said, sorry it takes a little bit, but shield. And oh yeah, I forgot to explain. I set it up as an array of data tables just in case you want them to carry more than one shield. So it's like, well, I want them to carry, let's say you're creating a game, it's like, let's say China. Okay, I want them to carry the shields of Wei, basically, which was one of the factions of the Three Kingdoms. I want them to carry Wei-based shields or Shu-based shields, or maybe both. Basically, so you put 2 there. So basically they carry them both. So it just allows a lot more for you to play with instead of being bound to just one. So that's what I would create that for. So that way you can really have a really cool time doing it. So alright. But going back to what I was going to say. So okay, calls upon the array from the shields, gets the output, and then what you're going to do, break the table row, and then you get the row name. You plug it in right where it says row name, and then what you're going to want to do is grab the other item, and now I go to unit shields. Okay? And then we're going to break the shields, and then as you see here, we have our arrays. So what you're going to want to do is, with the shield here anyway, you're going to want to go to the macro, pull out get array, you pull out right here, and then we're going to want to go ahead and grab the shield, which basically I set up as a static mesh within the actual unit. We drag it out, bring it here, and we go ahead and say attach to component, attach component to component, and you're going to grab that socket name as well, just put it right in there. Oh, that's a little later actually, I just realized this, hold on. Yeah, the parent will be the actual mesh, we'll throw that in there, yeah, because that's important. And then what I forgot to do is set static mesh. So the target will be the shield, but the new mesh will be what the shields that it pulls from. And so eventually you attach this to this, and eventually keep relative. I usually say snap to target when it comes to the scaling rules, rotations, and all that. That way it works perfectly. So that's all set. So now what you're going to want to do is, when you are starting the game in the event graph, you're going to want to add that now as a new piece of it. Boom, right there. And then we compile it, and sure enough, single player, hit the campaign, I scroll down, and lo and behold, he's carrying a shield. But there's a catch. As you see here, it's not showing the faction colors like he's showing. So here's what we're going to do. You go into the shields, and this is where you're going to want to go ahead and call upon, you want to create a dynamic material instance. 0 source material is, this is where it comes in. I just realized this is where it comes in. I mean, source material, you could do it that way, but turn this in, give me a minute here. I mean, we'll just plug it in anyway, because that's the way it's supposed to be done anyway. You just do that, basically. So you do that, and then what you're going to want to do, if I'm right, is you want to call, give me a minute here, I'm going to double check out the clothing. Oh yeah, we're going to want to set the vector. That's what we're going to want to do. See, source material, see, I got it from the array, didn't I? From the original. Yep, sure did. So we're going to want to get those as well. So Option name 0, which, yeah, there's no name for the option name. We're just going to delete that because there's nothing there. But here, we're going to want to call upon this because in the materials, I set it up this way. I'll show this really quick. That way you guys can see how I kind of did this real fast. Because this will, hopefully I can help you with your games a little bit too. Because that's the one fact I kind of, like, I personally feel that I would try and treat this kind of like, I guess like a guild, I guess you could say. Where I'm willing to share some things I've done and stuff like that to help you guys in your journey of becoming a game designer. I hope that it works out for you all. So, but definitely, so what you're going to want to do is click here. And as you see in the material instance, I have basically color maps and everything like that called. And then you have mask color 1 and mask color 2. These are actually the colors where they're set. So it will go into the material and set the color. So you can actually literally choose the colors. Or in the case that I've done for my game, is literally there is a menu where you can set the player controller and the colors there. So that way you can actually have colors that are unique to your team. And you don't have to create a million different textures, all with different colors. All you have to do is create one texture, just make it white, go ahead and create the mask for it, and then boom, you're set. So, as a matter of fact, let me get the code of the base one for you. That way you're not, like, wondering how it's all totally done. So, let me show you here. Alright, right up here, you have the mask color, metal diffuse, and then a base color mask. Basically, you go ahead and do the multiply, pulling from the red here. I'm going to go ahead and do it, make it a little bigger for you. So as you see here, goes to alert, and then eventually joins at the mask, and then right down here, color mask 2. Set up the different things as well. Goes to here, sets that up, and then eventually plug it into the base color. And there you go. And then you just add everything else you need. So, but there you go. And so that's what creates this, and then the metal and everything else to make it the metal look shiny and all that kind of stuff. So now let's go back to the units. So now I just added these, which basically is you want to say set vector as a parameter value, and then it will call upon the material's parameter values. So matter of fact though, let me check one thing before I go too far. Yeah, see, you got to call upon the actual dynamic material instance. So we're going to go ahead and drag these both right over here. So that way it sets it. And now, hit player start, single player, campaign, scroll down, and sure enough, there it is. You get an awesome shield right there with the colors of the actual faction. And then again, oh, so you get the other one, as you see right there, yeah, the more oval kind of shield. Do it again. As you notice, if you notice, the helmets change. They get nasal pieces. Sometimes they don't have nasal pieces. The swords will change in his hand and stuff like that. Oh, it did the same one, but see, show you the helmet too. Play again. There, and like with the helmets and stuff you see in here and stuff, I'm hoping to release this stuff to the public. There will be for a price though. I got to figure out what I'm going to charge for it, but not too expensive. That way people can actually use it in their own projects and actually make some really cool games. Because I would like to see people able to excel and do what they would want out there. Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's AI in here too. I got to work on him more, but I'm trying to create the actual AI for the game to actually fight the player and stuff like that. So as you see here, yeah, he's got his little guy. He's got his, yeah, we got the same kind of helmet I do. Interesting. And same, almost the same. Well, no, I got a different shield. That's right. We'll do it one more time just to kind of just really hammer home the variation kind of system and stuff. But yeah, so oh yeah, see, there's the rounded one. Cool. There we go. That's like more of the elite shields. He got no nasal piece. Man, it's not giving nasal pieces today. It's all look the same. They all look the same. See if he got a nasal piece. Oh, whoop, okay, he's moving along. Let me go ahead and see if he got one. No, he didn't. That's really weird. It's usually all the time you see nasal pieces. Huh. Let me try one more time, just for fun. No nasal piece either. Huh. Well, there you have it. But it's supposed to spawn in nasal pieces and stuff like that. That actually are supposed to make each helmet look different. Oh, see how he's carrying a different shield too. So, but that's the thing. Maybe what I could do is go ahead and throw some more in and show you guys that. All right. I figured out what happened. Okay, is I accidentally moved these around, as you can see here. It says helmet here, and then the accessories there. I accidentally made it to where basically it was going ahead and basically spawning in, but not having a socket. I have to make them children to the helmet, the accessories. So here we go. As you see here, now you should have got the crest, a Roman crest on his helmet. And then, of course, as we go over to the other ones, they should all look different too. Remember, they should have nasal pieces and everything like that as well. Yep, see? There you go. What I was trying to show originally. So there's this nasal piece right there. Alright. Oh, well, they kind of spawned in together, but there you go. There's more than just the gold ones, though. There's several different. There's bronze, there's gold, there's various things. I set it up to basically where it varies. And those pieces are actually separate static meshes that come together to make the helmet. So, but nonetheless, there you go. I hope this was helpful. I'm not the best video editor and all that kind of stuff, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope this was useful. So, as kind of a way of giving you ideas and stuff about how to approach variation. Now, I know this was just static meshes. You could use skeletal meshes. You could use anything. To do this, you can use materials, music, all of it. But this is how you vary it. Is that little macro right there is what gives you the ability to variate. Is this right here. So, alright, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless you.